and I'd sit down with them for a while and go, hey, you know, like you're peaking your mic, so you need to lower it. Because that was a problem I ran into a lot, was people would have their volume turned up too high, like their gain and all that, so it'd hit the top of what their mic could handle, and it would just basically sound like crap after you get to that point. So you tweak down the gain and all that. Or if it sounds like you're too quiet. Or you'd have some who would just about put the microphone in their mouth, and you're going, all right, like, I'm hearing your every breath. Like, you either need to get a filter, or you, like, when I say a filter, like the foam bubble or whatever, so I don't hear you breathing, or you need to get the mic out of your mouth. Or you'd have the people who their mic is like back, 5 feet from them, and you'd hear every single thing they did on their computer and everything nearby, but not them. But it's the kind of stuff, like, if you hadn't worked with that kind of equipment, why would someone know about it? And it is tricky, because, like, genuinely, if I'm being honest, for like the best audio quality for this mic, it should be about here for me. Like, really up in my face. But then I have a big freaking mic between me and my screen over here. So that is a slight compromise. But you have to do that. There is a practicality of mic position as well. So the only problem with flipping the mic to the other side is, if you look right here, I've got the mini map down here, and I could totally cover up the mini map if people don't care about it. But like here, actually, I can just show you. It takes 2 seconds. That is the wrong flip. Why do you have a flip vertically but not horizontally? Why would you do this? Yeah, no, it's just, well, that's like, I get having the flip vertically. It's just the fact that they have flip vertically but not horizontally is the thing. I'm like, okay, if you're going to include this functionality, why wouldn't you do it there? I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Transform. Edit transform. No, why would you not give me... Huh. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, is mirrored. They just have flip vertically and then a bunch of unrelated settings. Like, you can manually set the resolution and all that kind of stuff. You can set the power, the brightness, the gain, the zoom, the exposure, the tilt, the pan. Low light compensation. That's all great. Probably not under filters, I would guess. No, not under filters. Oh. I can add fades to that. I'm going to do that. Because I did find it kind of annoying that just popped in supersonic. That's deinterlacing, mixer, transform. And I'm getting right to the point being like, alright, I need to do this at another time. Because I can edit the transform, But like, it just tells me like where to position it on here, what size to make it, crop left, right, bottom, right, bounding box, that kind of stuff. Weird. Unless, let me just try this, lock. That's dumb that it works that way. But yeah, so you see the two problems with this micro, like me doing it this way, Burn and Sun, is one, when I look at chat, it looks like I'm looking off the screen, so it doesn't look as good. But then if I put that so the microphone's right up against the edge, in this case we're covering the mini-map, but a lot of games do like to put stuff down in this bottom right corner from what I'm seeing. So the places I've seen that work pretty well for putting your stuff, I'm going to quickly change this back. So places I have seen this work, that's probably too big, is I've seen this location work well on streams. I've seen this location work pretty well on a lot of games. This location works pretty well on a lot of games. But those are the only ones I've seen that work pretty well, from my opinion. Because usually there's something down here in the center middle. There's like you'll have like a compass or something. Like, sorry, down here in the middle you'll usually have something. A lot of games will put HUD stuff down here and down here. The top of the screen is usually like just right out. Yeah, and flipping so my other screen is over here would be problematic for me, because like I'd have to take apart my monitor arms and try and flip it and all that, and I'd rearrange the desk and all that. So that it's not that it couldn't be done, but it seems like a really big hassle. I think I'd be, yeah, and you can even see here once the activity thing goes away, you can actually see where the microphone is ever so slightly overlapping my arm now. And like I said, I do move the microphone around, so it is, I do feel like it is one of those things the microphone just stays there. Like if it's an absolutely huge deal, what I would probably do instead is I would honestly put like a box around here and just literally black out the background kind of thing. Like just make it a solid background, because then people would be less bothered by the mic, I think. But that would realistically cut into even more of the screen real estate. Either way, I don't think it's that big a deal though. Like so far I've only had like one person sit there and go, oh, that microphone, like, you know, what can you do about that? Can you move it out of frame or whatever? Most of the other people have been like, microphone's fine. Like, if it's a big problem, I can do something about it. But I haven't had, like, anything going, oh, the microphone's super distracting or whatever. And it's not me trying to show off the microphone, it's just this is the correct position for the microphone distance-wise. Once they start getting farther away, more background noise will get picked up, like me bumping the table, keyboard, that kind of thing. Because I do want to try and keep the microphone in front of the keyboard, the table, the mouse, all that kind of stuff. Because that means it'll pick up way less of that noise. Hey, Insane Spork, how's it going? But yeah, as far as like putting something green on it, like definitely the arm. The arm wouldn't be a piece of like a problem at all. I could just easily get like the fabric the right color and just make a sleeve and put it over the arm and bam, done. The microphone itself would be a bit more involved, partly because it's just a weird shape. And you can see that I have like you can see there's like this metal disc on the top. What that has, it has elastic springs or elastic lines that go between it and the mic. So that way when I'm banging the table, like you should be barely hearing me tapping on the table right now. Versus if I actually tap on that housing, you'll hear that a lot more. And so that's what those suspension springs are, is to dampen that. And then technically the boom arm helps with that, but it's kind of garbage at it. And I'm doing good, just talking audio things. But the thing is, like, if I cover it too tightly with fabric, then we have the risk of effectively giving more things that can transmit the vibrations from the table and the keyboard and the mouse into my microphone. So I'd have to do something like where I would wrap all of this as one spot and then wrap the microphone itself separately. At which point you'd probably still see the springs and all that kind of stuff. Or I'd have to make like some big cover that goes in front of it. And if I do that, again, my shoulder will disappear randomly because I have this big green thing in front of me. Or I'd have to move the microphone too far back that then the audio quality suffers. I just don't think it's a big deal. Like if people would sit there and go, the microphone is awful, it's too distracting, why? Like, if I started getting feedback on Discord saying, oh, your microphone's, like, super in the way and all that, you know, obviously that would be a different situation. But to me, it seems like such a minor thing. Because plus, I would say, like, a good maybe half of the people I see on camera, the microphone is plainly visible in their scene. Whether they have a green screen or not is different, but still. Though a lot of it's from below, not above. I don't think with my current boom arm I could... yeah, I don't think the current boom arm I'd be able to bring it from below. I don't think the boom arm has enough spring power to hold the mic in that position. Just as in stream, the microphone is slowly sync. I mean, frankly, the boom arm I have here is a real piece of junk. I need to take the boom arm from what was my work desk that I just rolled into the other room because it's on wheels. I need to cannibalize a bunch of stuff off of it that was higher quality. Alright, it's locked. You guys keep doing you. I do have the Ninja Turtles van. It is excellent. And I've been half tempted to do a stream where I take, like, my super high-end compression mic that I was using for my job and seeing how that fares on the channel. The problem with that compression mic is it's very, very, very sensitive compared to the current one. So, like, the quality would be even crisper, but I'm worried about background noise. Yeah. The van's radical, dude. Cowabunga, man. Yeah, so at this point we're just going through all these roads of Riverside that we haven't been through. Because of how much fighting we did on the main drag and how many zombies it drew in from the migrations at, we are seeing hordes down here, but not many. Just played D&D one-shot, where all the players played as turtle monks named after 18th century philosophers. Excellent. I approve. I am always a fan of a good theme. Alright, there was another weapon here. I don't remember what other weapon it was. Was it a pipe? Oh, I think it's over here. All of them, no. Many of them, yes. We have killed many a zombie. Like, I am feeling like by end of stream, at least, we'll probably have Riverside cleared. Probably not for a while, but end of stream. Just because, like, we are killing the zombies, and we're not seeing any significant replacements happening. So it's going to be doing the rounds, killing the zombies, and then we'll roll through with our horn blast and see what shakes out. Do that till we don't see a whole lot. Let's see, I'll have to catch up in chat. Yeah, the DM was pleasantly surprised. Excellent. I miss Ninja Turtles. They were my favorite growing up. Donatello all the way. Absolutely. You know, you needed Michelangelo for comic relief and all that, but Donatello is definitely the best. I heard Leonardo DiCaprio was in that show as Leonardo, but he was undercover. Interesting. I don't know, Raphael yelling, you know, dang, it was the edgiest thing I saw. I was a little, yeah. Just gonna have a little ice cream because we can. Because we're an adult and we define what that means. I think we're at heavy load because we're moving sluggish, which is not something I'm a fan of. I really need to get that van to drop off all these weapons we found. Like fighting at fairly heavy load, no problem, on board. Heavy load, not a fan. Oh, we didn't put the battery in the sports car. That's okay, though. That's something we can circle back and do. I will say, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as far as movies went, the first one, you know, like, absolutely great. Some of those movies definitely got pretty not good after a while. Just in the, like, this is ridiculous, I'm not, like, why are we watching this movie? It's not what it used to be. Please stop cashing in on this IP and come up with new ideas. Like, please just let them die. It's already dead. The CG one with Patrick Stewart was pretty good. Is that a more recent one? I haven't watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a pretty long time. Like, I remember I definitely watched, like, the first one. There was one where they went back in time and a bunch of other ones. It's just like, some of these were better than others. Alright, we got a hydrate. Give me one more. I see why I'm not getting much out of this. The plastic top is strong enough it's crushed the straw. And we got 10 push-ups, so knock those out, and I'll be right back. Alright, let me just record those real fast. Yeah, I believe that was the one that had like mega ripped shredder. No finesse, just beefcake shredder. Oh, that one randomly has a hunting knife. Alright. Not gonna complain about free hunting knives. Give me. Oh, there's a game that brings me back. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Not even the Super Nintendo one, where you had like, you know, is basically just like the arcade machine put on your console. But like the one where you had to go to like the sewer levels and everything else, or it was the dam. It wasn't a sewer. It was the dam. Where you had to defuse the bombs that the foot was going to use to destroy the dam. And it was like, you hear about the nightmare fuel that are most water levels in games, and it was absolutely one of those examples. And you had to fight, oh, what was it, Mecha Turtle was his name? And he was a colossal jerk. I remember that dam being absolutely infuriating. Because you're sitting the whole time going, I'm a turtle. Why can I not stay underwater longer than this? And why are the play controls underwater so terrible? Oh, now our crowbar. We are actually getting more crowbars than we are using now. We are producing crowbars with zombie kills. That was dangerous. I shouldn't be lax. I should always back up when I'm hitting. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if it would be the epitome, but it was certainly rough. Like, it was certainly a water level I remember going, you know what? That was not a good time. Now, if you want a game that's like bordering between fun and trauma, there's Echo the Dolphin. which a lot of people jokingly refer to as drowning simulator. Oh hey, a whole bunch of zombies that I didn't see. Because you're a dolphin whose ability to stay underwater is like all of maybe 30 seconds. And every level is a water level because, I mean, you know, dolphin. Hey! Yeah, Echo the Dolphin, it's like this cute game. The box art makes it look like absolutely adorable. It's like, what could go wrong? It's a game about an adorable dolphin. Wait, aliens have taken their friends? Oh no, and I drown so easily, and everything is about me going into places where I drown? All of this is awful. Why would we do this? The marketing was 100% felt like it was made for, like, little kids. And the game was absolutely brutal. Alright, it's locked. You two have fun. That was for the original Sega Genesis. Yeah, and that was the whole thing. It was aliens took your friends. It was a very weird game. It was also one of the games that had like one of the most evil like endings, where you had this ridiculously long, hard part to the game that like went into 2 or 3 different parts that were ridiculously long, hard parts to the game. And so you'd play this game and just it's like you'd do this ridiculously long, hard level, and they're going, oh, by the way, here's the boss that you need to learn like the patterns and all that to fight. But we're just gonna put this absurdly long, difficult part that would lead up to the boss that you have to play through between each and every attempt on the boss. It was a outright cruel game. Got more flamingos. Are you a wreck? Because I think this car's a wreck. Just judging by it, it's probably a wreck. It is a wreck. That's fine. We'll use that later as our siren car for in this town. You know, not unless I find one that's more conveniently positioned, or we find one that's just in good order. I can't imagine it's like legitimate propaganda, but I think it was just... It was a game that the marketing material and then the gameplay were very, very much not aligned with each other. No, I got you. Okay. The other thing is, like, I don't see how that would make sense. I mean, there was certainly a lot of that kind of crap going around at the time, like... That was back when you still had a lot of smoking advertising that... It wasn't targeted, quote-unquote, towards kids, but it was just outside that, where it very much is trying to make smoking cool. And all that kind of crap. It's like every person who was like the badass or whatever in a show would be, you know, puffing away at some cigarette. Like they'd gun down the bad guy and then light up their cigarette, you know, with strategically placed box of said cigarette. Or you have the guy who'd stand up to big bully government, you know, and then puff away at the cigarette after, you know, having their victory or whatever. We'd even have characters in kids' cartoons that occasionally pop out a cigarette. Like, you know, they had Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck do that a couple times. Wile E. Coyote did that a couple times as well. Guess let's keep killing them right here. They're just gonna keep showing up one by one, sure. Different times. Or the smoking, non-smoking sections in restaurants, which is like one of the most useless ideas ever. Some are worth it, I will tell you. Going back and playing some of the games, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a classic. I loved that game. And you go back and go, oh, this game did not age as well as I thought it would. Especially games kind of in the middle phase, like your really, really old classic, like your old, you know, ones like Pong and the old Atari games. Those I find aged pretty well because the expectation is so low so far as graphics and everything go. But then you look at games like Perfect Dark and you go to play those and it's just like, ooh, can't. Like literally it hurts my eyes to look at this game. They're just watering trying to focus on what's happening. They just really loved their blur effect. Alright, just didn't want to get cornered back there. Yeah, Skyrim's done fine. Like, the things that were the negatives about Skyrim weren't stuff like the graphics not being particularly good, stuff like that. It was like repetitious content kind of stuff, which, you know, that was the same amount of problem when it came out as later. That hasn't changed. If anything, I would say the industry's gotten more lazy about that stuff, where they'll do stuff that's randomly generated, but the templates are so narrow that you can just plainly see what the random generation is. And it's just disinteresting. There are exceptions. There are absolutely some games who do the whole randomly generated really well. But there are a lot of ones that do a terrible job. I put that on the wrong side. Like, for example, I would say games like New World, for example, a lot of the randomly generated quests are pretty uninteresting. It's like, oh, grab a bunch of MacGuffins. Alright. That's always been a comment about MMOs. Most of their quests are just, you break them down to 3 or 4 types of quests, and they just repeat ad nauseum. But New World felt like it had even less options than typical games. And New World was fun otherwise, but yeah. Yeah. I do like the meme that comes around every once in a while where they'll be like, okay, you know, here is how many different, like, I think it's like PlayStation 2 had like 3 different GTA games on it throughout its history. Because it had GTA 3, San Andreas, and GTA 5. But then it's reversed where you've had 3 or 4 different consoles so far as like the same, like PlayStation or whatever, have only had GTA 5. I see you, zombie. Give me a moment. It's kind of the catch with that though, is like, okay, and if you look from the perspective of the game dev, why would they make another one when they're just basically continuing to print money by just updating their game? And like, for me, Yeah, I played some GT Online for a long time. It was never one of my huge games, but it was one I poked at from time to time. But just how ridiculous a money grab it got to be. And honestly, it was no fun. The moment they introduced the oppressor, to me that was no fun, because flying motorcycles with homing missiles just made it so people who wanted to troll could troll so easily, versus before they had to actually, like, drive a car and reach you and then, you know, break out their rocket launch or whatever they're going to do. Or just mod. If we're being honest, just mod. That was kind of the big go-to, is people, like, modding in tanks and killing everyone, or making the sky drop nukes or whatever. And GTA, or Rockstar rather, doing entirely too little to deal with cheaters. Yeah, I didn't get to the point in New World where it's like, oh, these are the good and bad builds, like having any strong opinions or feeling that. Like I was doing a support build. Most games you'll find that are like MMO-esque, a lot of times I'll go for either some type of support or something of that nature, whether it's like a heal or crowd control or, you know, some type of buff provider, whatever is appropriate for the type of game. Because one, I know a lot of people don't like to do, and I actually do enjoy that gameplay. In some games. Some games it gets beyond tedious because the game has no interest. I do like that a lot of games nowadays with those MMOs are getting away from the WoW formula of you stand in the back as a healer and you're just trying to switch between your party members and drop heals as fast as possible kind of thing, or mana manage, and all that kind of stuff, where they actually go, no, as a healer you need to be in there doing stuff to be able to heal. I also like that a lot of MMOs have improved things a great deal when it comes to the whole damage rotation thing, because like World of Warcraft, you had two types of damage rotations you would do. Either your character had like the primary ability they'd use, and they'd have like 2 or 3 cooldowns, whatever you juggle to deal with stuff, like to either give you a temporary damage boost or to give you a defensive boost or recover your mana real fast, whatever the shortcoming of your class was, you'd have a way to mitigate it. But now they've actually made it so a lot of moves are situational when you use them and all that, which I think is a much bigger improvement in games. Because like I can tell you at one point playing a rogue in World of Warcraft was like 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 5 2 2 2 2 2 4 2 2 2 2 2 5 up DPS time 6 repeat. And, like, literally you get bored. It's even worse as a warlock if you did destruction, because it was just way back. It was you put up, I think it was 1 curse, you would have this other ability you'd do to proc Shadow Bolt, and then you'd just mash Shadow Bolt until one of the 2 dropped off. I have not played Final Fantasy XIV, no. I have actually stayed away from most MMOs. Like, New World is the first exception I had done in a long time because of the sheer amount of time commitment so many MMOs take. And I was gonna say, the other type of DPS you'd have in games like World of Warcraft is what I called the whack-a-mole DPS, which is you'd have your like regular ability use, but it would proc so many different things. So it's like the oh, what was it? You had Arms Warrior, you had Protection, and there's a third one. It doesn't matter. The DPS Warrior. But like later on it was like, okay, when you bleed something, there's a chance it procs this move, and that move has a chance to proc this Fury. That move has a chance to proc this move. And it very much felt like you're playing Whack-A-Mole, where you'd hit like your 2 abilities, and then you just have to have your fingers like poised over the other 3 buttons you'd have to randomly mash when you know, got a prompt that, oh, you know, your bleed procced this. Oh, now you have Overpower, you can proc that. Oh, hey, you proc this other thing, which lets you use Revenge. And you just kind of went, okay. It doesn't feel like I'm planning anything so much as playing like Simon Says on speed. Alright, we've been saved by our clothes again from the same nonsense. I hate all of that. But we didn't get hurt. Our clothes protected us. Now I'm annoyed. This needs to happen. Like, this is something that needs to go away. If you're going to make a vehicle so it obstructs vision, it has to be able to, like, disappear behind sight, or have the outline of the zombie show up red from way farther away. Because, like, there isn't a counterplay beyond standing away and yelling at that. Which is just not a viable counterplay. And it makes no sense from an immersion standpoint that I can walk up to a zombie I can't see. Because that's the second time this run that exact thing happened. Alright, what did they damage? So it was an upper arm hit. Okay. Yeah, I know I can park it... like, up and down kind of thing. But, like, with the road shaped this way, it's super annoying to have to go, okay, I'm gonna park it like this. Like, that to me annoys the crap out of me. That is a shortcoming of the game. That I have to do that silly stuff. Because, like, if I lost that way, I would be very salty. Because, like I said, the only counterplay, because the zombies don't always notice you. Like, that zombie stood there and looked the other way until they walked almost directly on top of it. So it's not like you can just stand near the van to see if something aggroes. And, like, if I'm being chased, again, it's not like there's a counterplay I have. Like, I can walk up with my weapon poised, but that makes you go slow. Hey, how's it going, Longclaw? Ellen's doing great. We just had a super close call where we got saved by tailoring because the obstruction of vehicles is garbage and I hate it. Basically, a zombie was behind our van and we couldn't see it until we were on top of the zombie and then it grabbed us. But tailoring saved the day. And I'm just being salty because, to me, that, like, when you have those types of risks, there needs to be a counterplay. And that's fine. The only counterplays I can think of is standing back and yelling, which of course draws all the zombies, so to me it's like that is an unsatisfactory counterplay. Because even if I stand next to the vehicle and wait to see if the zombie comes out, you know, even in those cases, like, we don't necessarily actually get the zombie to aggro, because sometimes they'll just stare the other direction until you walk up on top of them. Like, you can just stroll up on a zombie and hit it. I would say that house is full. I don't want to deal with that while drowsy. I mean, yes, but that assumes you already know there's a zombie back there. Like, that's the problem, is the van obscures your ability to see what's behind it. And, like, the only counterplay I have is, as Integer Smirk said, like, I can park the van so it's straight up and down like this, so there isn't a place to hide the zombie behind it. But I don't know. I feel like... Right, that's exactly my thought, Nito Kaju. It's like, okay, these solutions are more dealing with shortcomings in the game, not the actual problem. The closest I can think of is when you get a weapon up, a zombie, like, a red outline appears from farther away. So, like, a red outline might appear at that distance. But even that still feels kind of unsatisfactory. I think what you'd ultimately have to happen is similar to, like, when I walk up to a building, like when I get to about here, I would be then allowed to see behind the van. Like, the top of the van would no longer be blocking vision. Like, that's the best I can think of for that. I'm just gonna go back to the last house we were staying at. And I thought this van was short enough it wouldn't have obstructed our vision. Have I ever played Atlas? It sounds super familiar. Okay. Pirate survival game. Nope, that is definitely not a game I'm familiar with. Same team as Ark. I assume you mean Ark Survival, the dinosaur one? Yeah, Ark Survival Evolved, yep. It's like Sea of Thieves. But it's survival. Because the whole gimmick with Sea of Thieves was that it's, you know, PvP, PvE kind of hybrid, that you're trying to find the treasure in the world and all that, but other people can just harass you and take your things, and juggling all that. Ellen has 4 doctorates now. 2 are in just like basic doctor certifications, as well as 2 are in surgery. She's up to 4 of them now.